Hi all, Brad Loomis with 3D Muscle Journey, and one of the questions that I get asked quite frequently is how I manage to keep at it year after year with all of my back issues. Not a lot of people know this, but I've got a host of back issues. Some of them I was born with, and some of them that have just progressively gotten worse over the years. Yet with all of the abnormalities that I've got and all the problems that I've got, I basically work out pain-free, walk around pain-free, have managed to avoid surgery, specifically a laminectomy, which a lot of people with my condition end up having to treat back pain and sciatica and numbness, etc., etc. Yet I just keep going. I manage to progress every year, manage to avoid all that, and at the same time avoid surgery. So that's a question that I get asked quite frequently. And I just recently, over the Easter holiday, got asked that question again. And I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity to talk about my back issues and then also talk about what I do that keeps me going, what knowledge that I've managed to obtain to keep me going and keep all of these issues at bay. So this is kind of a series of videos that I'm going to do, and in this video here, first of all, talk about my issues and then show them to you. You're going to actually see some images that I took where I work. I'm a CAT scan tech on the weekend, and so I have at my disposal, I guess you might say, millions of dollars in imaging equipment that I can use to periodically check up on myself and check my spine and check my vertebrae and make sure that things are going well with me. And so I'm going to show you some images that I took. I'm going to talk about the issues that I have. And then in later series in the videos, I want to talk about and show you my mobility work that I do, a lot of the exercises I do, and then how I perform those exercises. So it's going to be about a three-part video that will hopefully, help a lot of people out there that have back issues or perhaps have fears about back issues and how to combat them. And so without further ado, let me go ahead and show you the x-ray images of my spine. This is a image that we took of me just this last weekend. So this is obviously from the front, arms are up over my head, and this shows a pretty good representation of how dramatic my scoliosis is. You can see it's a pretty good S-curve. This image over here on the right is basically an image of me laying on my back. So here you can pretty plainly see there's my skull right there with my teeth and whatnot. And so this is my back, and then this is my chest. I'm just basically laying on my back there and imaging from the side. So this is a good representation here of how crooked my back is. And as ugly as this is not really an issue for me. This is just cosmetic. This is not a big deal. I mean, I'm going to look crooked on the bodybuilding stage. I'm a little crooked when I do my squats and my deadlifts and stuff like that. But that's all this is. This is really never going to hurt me. However, what is an issue for me, and is probably going to cause me some detriment eventually, is right here at this area. What I've got here, these are sideways views of myself here on the right and then my coworker here on the left. On this view here, you can see this is a very normal spine. This is lumbar vertebra 3, lumbar vertebra 4, lumbar vertebra 5, and then her sacrum. And if you look at that, you can make this nice straight line on the front portions of the vertebrae down to the sacrum, and then the sacrum comes on down. Likewise, here's the posterior borders of the vertebrae as they come down. Nice straight line continuing right on down into the sacrum. And then likewise, you can imagine this is her spinal cord that goes right through these holes right here, right on down. Very normal. This is what 90% of people's vertebrae look like from the side. Now over here on the right, this is me, and you can see as we come down, it's arched, it's a bit more curved than my coworker over here. But the real problem is, as you can see, these make a nice straight line as they're coming down, curved, but they're straight. Same thing here. But then look at what happens right here with my sacrum. The front of my sacrum is actually back here. Likewise, as this comes down, lumbar vertebrae 3, lumbar vertebra 4, this is number 5. You can see this line as they line up pretty darn close. However, the back of my sacrum is way back here. And that's really what is probably someday going to cause me issues, is that vertebrae being so far forward on my sacrum, as opposed to what's normal, this vertebrae being right over the top of the sacrum here. And then likewise, these spaces here are the disc spaces. Nice open spaces between each of the vertebrae, or the building blocks. You can see mine, I got an open space here, but not a whole lot of, if any, space between this 5th vertebrae and that sacrum right there. So now what I'm doing right here is I'm actually measuring the distance that I have on that offset of that 5th lumbar vertebrae shifted forward on that sacrum. And the thing that I'm really pleased with is, like I said, this is very current. We just did this about probably a half an hour ago. This distance right here, that these two vertebrae are shifted, the 5th lumbar vertebrae on top of my 1st sacral vertebrae, is about 1.6 to 1.2 centimeters. And the reason that I'm pretty happy about that is it's about the same as it has been over the last probably 5 years since I last checked this. And so even though I'm squatting a lot more weight than I used to, squatting, probably about 50 pounds more consistently every workout, along with more volume, doing that 3 times a week as opposed to once a week, this distance has not changed. And that, of course, makes me very happy. At this point, what I want to do is, in the latter parts of this series, is go over some of the things that I do to combat this. Not that I'm ever going to be able to straighten this out, or somehow magically, reduce this offset from this vertebrae onto this vertebrae, but to combat the effects that things like this will cause. 9 times out of 10, this amount of spondylolisthesis is caused for a great amount of sciatica in both or one limbs, also quite a bit of back pain. Yet I've managed to thwart all of those things, numbness, back pain, etc. So in the latter parts of this series, I'm going to go over my mobility work, what I do to keep myself flexible, keep my movement and range of motion fairly, free from restriction, and then also kind of my workouts that I've done over the past few years to keep, the psoas muscles here, as well as, the erector muscles here, and then also the abdominal muscles here strong, and thus, create a lot of support for these vertebrae that might, otherwise be slipping more. So look forward to that in future videos, and until then, this, like I said, is literally Coach Brad with 3D Muscle Journey, and I appreciate you watching.